Good day, boxing fans. Friday night at the CPUT in Bellville in the Cape Town area, we're going to be having another South African title fight in the mother city. And the question on local fans' mind is, will it be second time lucky for Dula? I'm talking, of course, about Abdulaziz Kunert, who will be having his second crack at the South African featherweight title held by Zolisa Batyi from the Eastern Cape. And as we know, they breed them very, very tough down there in the Eastern Cape. If that is something that you're interested in, if you're excited about the fight here in the mother city, stick around and let's break it down. Will it be second time lucky for Dula? I think he's got a better chance now. The last time he challenged for the South African featherweight title was for the vacant title. He was up against Asanda Gingley and he lost a close split decision. And I think all in all, he was a little bit nervous in the beginning, I think, and he took a few rounds too long to get into it. But all in all, I think he put up a good performance, even though he lost a split decision. Now he's up against Zolisa Batyi. Now, Abdulaziz Kunert, I've seen many times from ringside. I've commentated on many of his fights in my Kwese TV days and my SAB Sport gigs that I did a few times. So I've seen a lot of Kunert fights from ringside. So he's a fighter that's always very fit. He's got a good chin. He's very tough. He's very durable. And he's got a very high work rate and a good variety of punches as well. He is in your grill all the time. And he's a volume puncher. He's constantly busy and he's constantly throwing shots. Now, excuse me, Zolisa Batyi is a guy I've also been ringside for, but only once. And that was there in the Eastern Cape when I was buried there on the undercard with J.R. Rakinel and Landing Ngeke being the main event. And I couldn't really remember. I know that he won his fight. He fought Sange Ngoza and he won decision there, but I couldn't remember too much about the fight, so I had to go back and look at my notes in my notebook, my green notebook where I sit there with at ringside, and go and look at my notes again and find a bit of footage of Zolisa Batyi. So that tells me that he's solid but unspectacular. Now Batyi's got a record of 7-2, and he's got 5 knockouts, so he can punch. He also lost his first title shot against the same Asanda Gingley, going down on points, and then second time lucky, Batyi won the title when he beat Gingley's conqueror Jeff Magagane. He knocked out Jeff Magagane. So the thing about Zolisa Batyi is he's a southpaw to boot, so that is going to be another thing for Dula to contend with, for Kunert to contend with, is a southpaw stance of Batyi. And Batyi, I see I made notes there. He's got a very good right hook on him and has got a very good straight left from a southpaw stance. And he can clearly, he can whack a bit. He clearly has a better power. If we look at Abdulaziz, his record is 11-2 with only 2 knockouts. He scored 1 spectacular knockout a few fights back against Mfusi Makai, and that was a very good knockout. He can punch if he sits down on his punches, but usually the volume takes the power away. But safe to say, Batyi's got the power here in this fight, not Kunert. So that is the one thing. And the other thing, the thing about Abdulaziz Kunert, there's 2 things. He isn't the big power puncher. Okay, many fighters aren't. And the other thing is he takes shots. He's got a very good chin, so he's never really been in serious trouble. But we know something about Kunert. Over those 12 rounds against Batyi, Batyi is going to hit him and he's going to have to take some shots. And now the thing is, does Batyi hit harder than Asanda Gingley? Because Gingley couldn't get Kunert out of there. Can Batyi do it? I think there's a possibility. There's a possibility that Zolisa Batyi cracks Kunert 1 too many times and gets him out of there. If he wins by stoppage, I wouldn't be shocked. There is a possibility also that Kunert simply is too busy, just outworks Zolisa Batyi in this fight. Because Zolisa Batyi, I've also in footage seen him hurt. you know, where he's wobbly and then he comes back and he stops his opponent inevitably. So Batyi can be hurt, and Kunert I have yet to see really wobbling around the place. Gingley caught him a couple of times, but he handled it quite well. So I'm thinking that Kunert can at least hit hard enough to get Batyi's respect, to making things twice just about wading in. And Abdulaziz Kunert has fought a southpaw before, and Mfusi Makai, that was the most experienced guy he probably fought as well, but yet towards the tail end of Makai's career. But he scored a spectacular knockout there. And I'm thinking the southpaw stance is not new to Abdulaziz Kunert. He'll handle that. So the southpaw stance of Batyi doesn't really worry me too much against Kunert. I can boil it down to this. If we look at Abdulaziz Kunert's performance against Asanda Gingley, even though it was a losing performance, it was a good performance. He did get into his own in the second half of a fight. If he can duplicate that performance he had against Asanda Gingley, against Zolisa Batyi on Friday night, I think Kunert has got a good chance of winning that title. I think he will in that case, he might very well outwork and outpoint Zolisa Batyi and win a close decision. However, in his last fight with Abdulaziz Kunert against Amos Batyi, it was a fighter that had a 1-6 record, a very tough journeyman, but not really a guy that's a world beater or even a beater at national level. And he really struggled in that fight. He came home with a decision, but he didn't. He squeaked through with that decision, and was a very closely contested fight. And I thought in his last fight, Abdulaziz Kunert didn't look good. He looked the worst that I've seen him. You know, his two losses was against Gingley, and then he also lost a split decision right after that against Sitembiso Maduna, who also went on to challenge for the SA title. He's had issues to deal with outside of the ring. He lost his mother, which I know he was very close to, so there was a lot of emotional stuff too. But a lot of what goes down Friday night depends on, you know, what version of Abdulaziz we're going to see. I think Batyi, as I said, he's solid but unspectacular, but he's a guy who can crack. He's a guy who hasn't had easy fights. Neither did Abdulaziz Kunert as of late. But if his performance if he's not on his P's and Q's, Kunert, then Batyi is simply going to steamroll him. He's simply going to dominate him, and he's going to win. Whether he hits hard enough to be the first guy to crack Kunert's jaw and knock him out, that remains to be seen. I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But if Abdulaziz Kunert puts in the performance he did in his last fight against Amos Batyi, he's going to lose. Of that, I'm fairly certain. If he puts in the performance he did against Asanda Gingley, perhaps with just a little bit more tweaks on the defense and so on, then I think he's got a slightly more than 50% chance, a 60% chance maybe even, of outpointing Zolisa Batyi just through his busyness and the home crowd egging him on. So that's what I think. Those are the two scenarios. I am thinking, my gut tells me Abdulaziz Kunert is going to pull it together. He's going to put on his best performance, and I think he's going to win a close decision, a 2-pointer or so, against Zolisa Batyi and become a new South African champion. I might be biased, you know, because Kunert, he's my hometown fighter, and I know him quite well. So tell me in the comment section. I know you guys in the Eastern Cape, you're going to definitely disagree with me. Tell me how you see the fight going. Do you have Zolisa Batyi or Abdulaziz Kunert winning this South African title fight on Friday night? I believe it's also on SABC. I will be ringside, so if any of you guys who watch the channel see me around, please come say hello. I always enjoy chatting to you. And let me know in the comment section, what do you think about Zolisa Batyi against Abdulaziz Kunert? And until I see you guys again, keep those hands up.